Remember February of 2022? Wasn't that long ago. Republicans said they would win big majorities in the House and Senate. They told us to just look at the polls. And to be fair, the polls looked about the same then as they do now. This is from NBC over the weekend. The poll found Americans trust President Trump more on the issues by big numbers, up 35 on the border. Mental and physical health up 23 points. Crime and violence up 21 points over Joe Biden. Competency up 16 points. Trump up 11 points on improving America's standing in the world. And as you might imagine, the numbers left our friends at MSNBC and even NBC News shocked.
Well, you know, Steve, there are a lot of numbers in here that are shocking to a lot of our viewers. I'll just say it right here, a lot of them shocking to me.
The economy is so striking, Steve, because jobs are up, inflation is down. Voters aren't giving him credit for that, clearly.
The poll shows Biden is leading among black voters by 59 points, which is concerning for the White House when you remember that the president won that voting bloc by 75 points in 2020. These are huge problems for Joe Biden. Yet for some reason, in a head-to-head matchup, Mr. Trump leads only by 5 points in the same poll. When you look at the issues, all of the most important issues to Americans, he leads by double digits. In some points, he's up by 20 and 30 points. In the head-to-head matchup, he's only up 5. And we've seen this play out before. Polls predicted a red wave in 2022. Republicans, as you heard, promised majorities in the House, majorities in the Senate. They were going to take over Capitol Hill. Well, Democrats control the Senate, and as we've reported, Republicans have such a slim majority in the House, they mostly fight amongst themselves. We'll get to that a little later. Looking forward, though, Biden's poll numbers are about to change. The media narrative surrounding the economy and border will move in his favor. Biden knows it. He and his team are not worried. And we know that because he's skipping the usual pre-Super Bowl TV interview for the second time. And to be fair, they know the media won't call them on it, so they get to do it. President Biden knows he doesn't need to do a pre-election blitz. He can let Trump run against himself. There is one safe bet in politics. Never underestimate Republicans' ability to screw things up. We start tonight with Bill O'Reilly, former Fox News host, anchor of the No Spin News, author of Confronting the President's No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden, out later this year. Mr. O, good to see you, sir, as always. All right, what is the No Spin take on why Donald Trump is not up double digits when you have him on the issues up so high?
Demeanor. So there are millions of voters, women in particular, who simply don't like Trump's demeanor. So that is his handicap going into November, because I don't believe he's going to change his demeanor. He should be a kinder, gentler Donald Trump. But that's not in his nature. He'll ride it to the end, and absolutely could boomerang back and hit him right in the nose.
I'm glad to have you on tonight because I thought over the weekend when it came out that Joe Biden would not be doing the usual Super Bowl interview, I thought about your two interviews. We worked together at Fox at the time with Barack Obama, who certainly, I think, did not want to step into the no spin zone and come on with you, but he did it anyway. And then at the end of the last interview, this is what you asked him. Take a listen.
I think a lot of the viewership gravitates.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you think you're being treated fairly by Fox News now?
I would say that the news guys, I think, try to do a good job. Although, look, let's face it. I mean, Fox News, I think, has a point of view. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a strong history in America of all news having some sort of point of view. And Fox News has a point of view, and I think that's part of our democracy.
Obama felt compelled to sit down with you twice, yet Biden doesn't feel compelled even to sit down with CBS. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm a much nicer guy than anybody CBS has, or
Better looking for sure.
And Obama liked me, and I think he enjoyed the joust. You know, 7 years ago today, I interviewed Donald Trump. for a Super Bowl extravaganza. Those interviews with Obama were live. Hardest interviews I've ever done because you got to keep them on track. You only have a certain amount of time, and Obama can do 10 minutes on your socks. Very eloquent guy. But President Obama and I had a mutual respect. And I thought that it was my job to go in, not ask him powder puff questions as most Super Bowl interviewers do, but to get to some of the issues that I was interested in. And I think he respected the process. We have posted all of those interviews, Leland, on BillO'Reilly.com, start to finish. You can see them all.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.